right, welcome back to H2H, week number 2. We're doing the NBA here, the NBA edition. Tasos, I'm coming off of a win last Tuesday. It was a good battle, right? You had Austin Reeves there. That was a nice play. I jumped on board with that, and I even told you before we started recording, I was like, I watched Luka missed like 3 threes that Austin Reeves just handed to him, which could have been easy assists. But nonetheless, my only loss ended up being the fade me round that you gave me, right? So decent week from you. Just came up a little bit shy, but yes, 1-0 to start the inaugural NBA H2H season. How are we doing over there?
Doing good. I mean, those are the kind of weeks where I don't want to say I don't get mad because, again, if Reeves gets one more assist, which he should have, we're talking a different thing here. I get the week 1 win, but we were on the money. We had the right ideas. The fade me round, I got the win, which is what I'm looking for there. Desmond Bain came
Yep.
through for me there, but I've been red hot since H2H. I don't know. We talked about this in our text messages. We both kind of got hot. I've been on an absolute heater. Where even today's, this obviously coming out after my NBA player prop video, but I have my day 3 on my ladder challenge today. We cashed again. Like I've hit like 3 parlays in the last week. All the single bets have been hitting. So H2H is I was already having a good year, but H2H has just lit a fire under me and it's just gotten even hotter. So. And I know you too. You can kind of turn your season around a little bit post.
Yeah, I was having a so like just like middle of the road type NBA season, and then one of my biggest nights came literally that Tuesday that we recorded last week. So yeah, good to see. Hopefully this is just good luck for both of us. That's good. That's good for business. Good for everyone watching here. But if you guys don't know what this show is, Tasos and I go back and forth giving our plays for the day, but it's a little bit different than our normal videos. We have to follow a wheel that dictates 1, the order of our picks, and 2, the categories that we jump into, whether it's player points, player rebounds, assists, spreads, totals, that type of thing. So if you are new to the show, it's a little bit different. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of laughs here. And yeah, very excited to keep going with the NBA edition. Again, we're going to aim to get these out on Tuesdays. I would say backups being Thursdays. And then maybe if things go according to plan, one day we're looking at potentially, Tuesday, Thursdays, multiple times a week. But yes, we do have a lot of other stuff to do. So we can't do these every single day, unfortunately, but we'd like to at some point or work towards that. But Tasos, before we do jump into the wheel and jump into the show, why don't you tell the fine people at home about the fine people at Outlier?
Yeah, Outlier, guys, it is the sponsor of today's video. If you watch any of our other videos here on the channel, they sponsor a ton of our content. Almost all of our content here on the channel is sponsored by Outlier. It's the best sports betting tool on the market. You're going to hear us talk about in today's video some numbers. We're going to give you guys some data, some statistics. All of those numbers are coming from Outlier. It's a great sports betting tool. It consolidates everything that you need, all the patterns, trends, analytics, insights, everything into one easy and convenient place. It really does make you a better sports bettor. You got to have a proper sports betting tool by your side, especially like with baseball coming up. Baseball is all numbers, all analytics. You got to have the right tool by your side. And Outlier is the best that money can buy. And guys, we're giving you all a special 7-day free trial when you use the link down below in the description. That easy. You click the link, try it for 7 days. If you don't like it, I'd be shocked if you didn't. But if you don't like it, you can cancel, no cost to you guys at all. But I'm telling you guys, you will fall in love with Outlier, and it's going to go ahead and make you guys better sports bettors and hopefully make you guys some more money. So go ahead, check out the link down below in the description. Special thank you to Outlier for sponsoring today's video. And if you guys want a little bit more insight into how Outlier works, I do my NBA player prop videos every day. I use Outlier in the screen. I know Ev does too. We both do, but my videos too. We use Outlier in the screen so you can go ahead and take a look at how it actually looks, how it actually works. But yeah, it's a great sports betting tool. You guys will not be disappointed. That I can promise you.
Yeah, go ahead and check it out. That link will be down in the description down below. And again, thank you to Outlier for sticking with us and definitely rocking with us here. But Tasos, let's jump into the wheel. You guys are going to see a wheel on your screen. It's going to dictate the order here. Whoever this lands on is going first. It is then a snake draft from there. We'll get to the second wheel in just a second, which has the categories. You did have the wheel in your favor last week, Tasos. It didn't end up working out though. Usually, somehow, some way, the vibes out there, the electricity, the wheel actually, somehow impacts. It didn't last week. So, what are you thinking? Do you think the NBA is opposite? Do you want the wheel this week? Do you not want the wheel? Because that was interesting last week.
I still want the wheel. The wheel. Still ultimately, like if you look at it, the first pick hit, the fade me pick hit. So those were a couple of those wheel spins that were in my favor. True. So like I said, and I'm not mad about last. The only pick I regret is the Zion pick. which was a plus money play. Didn't and he only missed it by 2 rebounds, but
Yeah.
I'm still pretty happy with the results from last week. So I'll take
Yep.
the wheel spin. If the wheel gods will allow it, I would prefer to have the wheel on my side.
All right. Let's see what we got here. We're spinning it.
I'm also the hottest man on earth right now, so having the wheel would be nice, but I'm not going to get
It's directly on my name. All right,
Dead
so
easy.
I'm gonna start us off here. You guys are gonna see a second wheel pop up now. That has a few different categories in it. We'll read them off once it gets up. What do you like the slate today? Have you looked at it like deep?
I've already kind of done my prep for my other video, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of value. I didn't like yesterday's slate too much, even though honestly I did well. Today's slate's nice. There's a couple of nice spots to go ahead and target.
Yeah, I like a few of the games today too. So yeah, we do have
Yeah.
spread, total, money line, sort of the game picks there, and then we also have player props, which mean you can go anywhere. Then you have points, rebounds, assists, combo, and an under. So that's what's on the wheel today. Once it lands on this, we remove it for the following round. We have 3 rounds and the fade me round. Stick around. We'll talk about fade me in a little bit, but let's go ahead and spin it and let's see what I'm jumping into. Again, it's a snake draft, so Tasos has 2 picks back to back coming up.
We're gonna get a money line here.
Interesting.
We didn't have anything last week. Last week was all player props, so it's a little change of
Yep.
pace here.
Yep. All right. So money line. This is I do have a couple that I kind of want to go to here. I think the one that I am going to roll with maybe a little crazy. Like I think it might be psycho alert alarm worthy on my own videos here. I think that this team kind of has the team that they're playing's number, and they match up fairly well. Now, am I concerned with the fact that this team has? And I'm kind of just like baiting you right now. You don't even know who I'm talking about. This team has been so up and down, but kind of like the spot here. And there's a huge piece missing on the other side. I'm going to go Phoenix Suns here, money line over the Clippers, plus 110. The Suns, they haven't played well. They haven't, but neither have the Clippers, first and foremost. And they've won 3 matchups in a row here against the Clippers. This year, you could make the argument, oh my God, the Clippers are due and all that. And honestly, if that's what burns me, then yeah, that's it's tough to beat a team, 4 times? I get that. But no Norm Powell on the Clippers side of things. You look at the Suns team, and they actually shoot a lot of mid-range jumpers, second most over the last 10 games frequency-wise. Makes sense, right? Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, I think is questionable, but honestly, if he plays, great. If he doesn't, not going to impact this play. They shoot a ton of mid-range jumpers. They make a ton of mid-range jumpers, and that's like one of the sole weaknesses on this Clippers defense. And like I said, they just match up fairly well. The Suns, isolation-wise, they have 2 guys that can isolate. Clippers, good defensive team, terrible against isolation. So yeah, I like this spot. The Suns have also been shooting pretty well from 3 lately, and the Clippers' perimeter defense hasn't been all that great. So this Clippers team is good. They do have pieces, but they're kind of in a rut right now. So you have 2 teams in a rut, one at home, one, what did I say, plus 110. Let's see if that's the most recent line here. I'd love for that just to jump even more. Let's see. Plus 118. Plus 118 is the final line over on Caesar. So yeah, Suns money line. It looked like you might have had that on your board.
So no, I didn't have that pick on my board, but I had that game. I was gonna go the opposite. I
Okay.
was gonna go Clippers money line
Okay.
against you. Um,
You still
I
can.
I could. I'm thinking about it. My thing with the Suns is like not only are they're not a great team on the court, but you read all these stories that have been coming out, and there seems to be a lot of stuff going on
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes. Mike Budenholzer is telling Devin Booker to calm down, and it's like, what? He's your superstar. Why would you want him to tone it down? Like you want him to be high energy. All the Durant stuff. Like it seems like after this year he's going to be on a new team. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff going on here too. They're 28 and 33. Everyone keeps waiting for Phoenix to sort of like light it up and get into that play in
Yeah,
and
I don't think it's
turn it
coming.
around. I don't think it's happening. This team just doesn't feel like
But
it.
they are at home. You mentioned 28-33. They're 17-13 at home. Clippers 13 and 18 on the road. So that's another kind of piece here that could make you look towards the Suns.
Clippers are also 24 and 8 in their last 32 games as a favorite. That's a 75% hit rate on the money line. So that is something to consider that they have
Mm-hmm.
when they are a favorite, they do for the most part handle their business.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you. The Norman Powell thing is a big like if they had Norman Powell, I don't think this would be as valuable. I think Clippers would probably be like minus 160, minus 170. I think he does make that big of a difference in this game. The Suns, like I know Bradley Beal's his game time decision. I don't think that matters all that much, but
No.
it's for a value sake. It's good because like look at all the other games. Like this is the closest matchup, I guess you could say, from both a spread and money line perspective. So I don't hate the pick, but I do think the Clippers. I would trust them a little bit more with Kawhi, with James Harden right now. And the
Yeah,
Suns defense is horrific. Like that's the difference. Is
horrific.
like the Clippers top 5 defense in the NBA. Yeah, their offense is not great, but they're playing offense Viagra in the Suns. So I think I actually think it's a better. I know the Suns have dominated the recent series, but I think the Clippers are coming in this spot a little bit better than the Suns are. So I would prefer the Clippers in this spot. I
Yep.
don't hate it going with the Suns, but I just right now I wouldn't want to put money on Phoenix. That's just with the way things are going right now. They seem like a risky play. Um,
Clippers. Clippers. Without Norman Powell this year, 5-9. Their last 4 games without him, which all the most 4 recent, right? 0-4. They
yeah,
have
like I
played
said,
this. This
The
they played
Norman
a
Powell.
they played a
Yeah,
tough schedule without him. They played Boston twice, I guess Minnesota twice. Like that is 2 of those
that's
losses
tough.
out of those 9 have been Boston. So I guess, but yeah, that's 20 points right there. You're not getting.
No, that's it. And he's been one of the big reasons why they're as successful as they are is his emergence. Like he honestly, if it wasn't for LeBron pulling his LeBron stunts, where he decided 4 hours before the game to opt out, he might have been an all star. Like they might have put him in the game. So he's having a great year. But yeah, him not being available for them is a massive loss. So it evens the odds a little bit, but I still would prefer the Clippers in that spot. Again, not
Fair
enough to
enough.
take them, but
All right, where are you
um
going?
I'm going with this one just because I think this is a good matchup for this team. I'm going the Pacers on the money line. Now the value isn't the best. It's minus 155 over on DraftKings is what I think the best is what I'm getting it for. Yeah, minus 155
Yep.
on DraftKings. This is more about the Rockets than it does about the Pacers. Houston, obviously, they coming off a rough loss last night to OKC. That was a good game. I don't know if you watched any of that. That was SGA had 56 points last night. They lost by 9. They kept in it for a while, but OKC just SGA literally could not be stopped. Um, they're not in a bad form. The Rockets, they're 50-50 their last 10. The other key thing though, the reason why I like the Pacers a lot in this spot is because the Rockets are missing a lot of their key guys. This is also the problem last night. Like no Şengün, no Van Vliet, no Amen Thompson, no Dylan Brooks. Tari Easton's a game time decision. And look at the Pacers side of things. The only person really that's Benedict Mathurin's a game time decision, but they're going to have Halliburton, they're going to have Turner, they're going to have Siakam and Nemhard and everybody. So they have almost completely full strength, even without
Mhm.
Mathurin. I'm not too concerned. The Rockets with no Şengün and none of those other guys, like that's big. I mean, they basically have Jalen Green and Jabari Smith, and they have a couple guys still going, but you know, at full strength, I would like the Rockets in this matchup. I'll be honest, but Ahmed Thompson, who's been playing incredible of late, like him being out, that sucks for them. Like, just
Yeah.
too much. There's just too many guys out. It's the second night of a back to back. They just played a really hard fought battle with the Thunder, and now you have to travel to Indiana off of that and play a Pacers team that they're not a great team, but they have won 6 of their last 10. They are coming off a really good win against Chicago the other night, so I do think I think the Pacers are the better play again. Minus 155 odds, not the best value, but I do think it's a good spot.
They have been really good at home. I will say
Yeah, 18-9 at home.
those guys that are out, they could still play in the NBA. When you're on back to backs, you have that like you have a little bit later to declare your actual full like injury report. So those guys being out, some of those out tags could be even just from last night. So if any of those guys play, I guess it makes it tighter. But I'll say this, and I'm not even like I do think the Pacers have a little something in the chamber right now, especially at home. They're playing some good basketball. Even just using our dashboard that we offer, this Pacers team has been scoring really well in the paint this season. Not so great on the Houston side of things defensively. In fact, last 10 games, Houston 70.4% field goal percentage against in the paint. Whereas Indiana's sub 70, they're looking good. Their defense, top 12 over the last 3 games. So you give them a little bit of credit. So I don't hate this spot. I do think this could be a dicey one because you have Houston that has just been in a funk. And at some point, these teams that have been in funks, they snap out of it, right? But I don't know if the Pacers at home would be the time to take Houston. So I guess because the Pacers are what 18 and I think they're 18 and
18-9
8,
at home.
18 and 9 at home. So it's like this team is very good at home. You're probably getting the good side there. So yeah, I don't mind this whatsoever. I think isolation wise, looks like that could be a really good leg up for Indiana as well. They don't run it a ton, but effective field goal percentage, offensively isolation, top 10 defense isolation here for Houston, bottom 4. So yeah, I kind of like the spot here for Indiana. That's one of those questions where I think, if we had more time to do it too, we'd think and discuss like, is minus 155 appropriately priced? Is it like more, you know what I mean? Like if you had to think
Yeah.
about the price, But either way, I think that that's a fine play. I don't have too much to disagree about the stuff actually on the court. I think it would depend on those final injuries and the price.
Yeah, and I think, and the thing is, even if they do have those players back, the Pacers aren't a bad team. Like even if they do have Şengün and they have some of their guys, like Indiana could still win that game. They are a
Pacers
good
are
enough
playing
team
good.
to
Yeah,
beat them. Yeah,
they're yeah. I'm not taking
I think it's very attractive when you think about the fact that they may not have Şengün, they may not have
or
Thompson,
not
or
100%. Like even if they
yeah,
do play, you know what I mean. So yeah, I see that there for sure. Especially when the Pacers issue defensively is truly defending the rim, defending the paint. If they don't have
yeah.
say Şengün, like that's or Amen Thompson, two guys that get to one of those two missing or not 100%, that could be a huge miss there. So they'll need to get to the paint. That's where the defensive weakness is. So yeah, I don't mind that spot whatsoever. I will say the only thing, and again, it's kind of like a what if. It's like what if the Rockets just snap back into form as to what they were, because they were so good. Like I don't know, 2 months ago they were a top 5 team in the league. It was looking like, and now it's just been like a roller coaster. All right, let's
Yeah,
go ahead
yeah,
and jump into what round number 2. You're going to be leading us off.
yes, yep, leading off here.
All right. Anything on the board that you're looking for? I'm sure you want some player props to come up.
I would definitely like some player props. But yeah, I'm not going to be picky. I mean, the only thing, the spreads are going to be interesting because I do think there's a couple of big spreads that'll be interesting to look at. But definitely
Yeah.
some player props is what I'm looking for here.
All right. Let's spin it.
Let's see what we're going to land on here. We're going to land
Wow.
on a player prop. Well,
All right.
there you
Now
go.
the wheel's heating up for you.
Speak it into existence. What can I say? All right, I have a couple options to go with here. The question is, which one do I want to go with?
I think I
a
have
lot
one that I really like, so I hope you don't take it.
Let's see. I might even just, you know what? I might do this. This is a play I was going to give out in my video, but it kind of goes in tandem with the pick I just gave. Do I want to double down on this Pacers team? I will.
Ooh.
I'm going to go Miles Turner here over 23.5 points, rebounds, assists. We're
Okay.
getting this for minus 125 over on DraftKings. Again, if Şengün doesn't play, this player prop looks even better.
Mhm.
If he does play, I'm still not concerned. Now, the Rockets do actually rank in the overall numbers pretty good. First in points, second in rebounds, second in assists overall this season. But all that being said, if you really do watch them with the eye test, like Şengün is not a bad defender, but he's not a good defender either. Like a good center, a good offensive center, and Miles Turner is a pretty solid offensive center,
Mhm.
can score points on Şengün. So looking at the data here, I mean, Turner's cashed the over in 8 of his last 10, including 6 straight games. He's cashed the over. He's averaging exactly 23.5 points, rebounds, assists per game over his last 10. Even the overall numbers, they're not bad. 52% hit rate this year. Again, averaging 23.67 PRAs per game. And from a head-to-head standpoint, he's cashed it in 2 of his last 3 versus Houston. Now, they did play once this year back on November 20th. He did miss the mark. He finished with 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists in that game. He had a lot of rebound chances, a lot of opportunities for rebounds. Ultimately, what happened the last time, he only took seven shots in that game, so he just didn't shoot the ball enough. So that's the big issue. But overall, I think it's a good spot. And then you also have the insights provided by Outlier. He's exceeded this line in 4 of his last 5 games at home as well. So across the board, it's a really solid player prop. And again, if Şengün doesn't play, looks even better. Even if he does play, I still think he can cash this over.
Yeah, I think that he's kind of a guy that seems to be like playing well, especially I would say the points. Like he has a lot of upside right now, points wise. We've seen him go for 20 plus multiple times, and Benedict Mathurin still doubtful in this one, though they don't play the same position or anything like that. That is a few field goal attempts that you definitely could see some, more shots come his way, right? In his 4 games without Mathurin this year, to help your point, because I do like the look, 28, 24, 22, and 16 points. So if he gets those points going, obviously you need a little bit more to happen outside of that than just points. But clearly that's something that helps him out. If he goes for 28 points, I'd say you're sitting pretty, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do like the look. I will say maybe just like I think I would have maybe looked at points just because that's like that direct correlation to kind of
Yeah.
what I'm seeing. But I can't really knock the rebounds. I mean, his rebound chances, he's been a little inconsistent, but he's had plenty of games where he has like 18 rebound chances. That's going to be good. So yeah, I don't mind it. I do like points more, but even still, like I think if Turner's going to have a good game, be involved in it, then it's going to be a good game for him. And one thing I want to note too, just in terms of like how these, and for anyone watching, this is actually something I always think about when I take like rebounds into consideration. The team that is shooting on them, like Houston, for example, you want to look into how they shoot the ball. Because say for the Celtics, like the Celtics shoot so many threes, those rebounds hit the rim harder, they bounce farther. There's not, it's not as not the most prime center type of rebounding situation. Houston shoots a ton in the paint, in the mid range. Miles Turner not always hanging around the paint, but definitely a better favorable situation for him to kind of clean up. So there's kind of the rebound side of things. So yeah, I don't mind it. I think Miles Turner has a good scoring night tonight, so that's definitely got at least like my Ev stamp of approval, I would say.
Yeah, my thing always when it comes to like point player props, and don't get me wrong, I agree with you. I think the points might not be a bad place to go, just go points. But I've always been burned so many times with these NBA
Yeah,
player props where it's like I go points and like maybe they get close, but they needed a little extra bump to get there. And sometimes having that rebound combo can help them get there. So that's
yeah,
why I prefer to go points, rebounds, assists. Again, the rebound chances are there. Again, he's inconsistent with how many he grabs and how many he gets, but
but still, I agree
for
with
the
that.
most
Yeah.
part. And like I said, the thing with the Rockets is they rank pretty well, but overall, if you really do watch them, like again, if you have these dominant centers, and I don't know if I call Miles Turner a dominant center, but he's the type of big who could give Şengün problems if Şengün plays. Again, if he doesn't play, it's all mute. I think it's a great matchup with it because then you got Steven Adams playing center, which is not really good for Houston. Good for us. Um,
If that ends up being the case, I would say to anyone watching, a good look may be to think about Miles Turner's threes too, because Steven
yeah,
Adams isn't going to chase him outside to the 3 point line. You're probably paying like plus, you're probably 2.5, which is a high number, but you're probably getting good plus money. I don't have that up, but Steven Adams, no chance he runs around the perimeter with Miles Turner. So yeah,
no,
I think that
no.
I think you're right. There's kind of multiple ways to make the argument that this is just a good matchup. When you have a good matchup overall, you can't really go. I mean, you can go, but you can't go wrong with just saying, hey, just like get everything involved, right? And you got what, 20, said 24 and a half,
23 and a half. 23 and a
23
half
and a
for
half.
minus 125.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I kind of like that. All right, my spot, the place I'm going to is kind of crazy because I know when you say in your videos and stuff, you're like the data's there and it looks good. This is terrible. I'm looking at Darius Garland over 21 and a half points. He's only hit the over in 3 of his last
Mm-hmm.
10 games. He's averaging 18.2 over his last 10 games here. His field goal attempts are down. His minutes are still there, which is really good, but I don't see how. I think that this is just a great matchup for him. Last time he did play them, well, earlier in the year he had 17, but he didn't really hit his hot streak until after that. So I'm not. I mean, sure, it helps my argument, but I am truly kind of throwing out that first game. He played 29 minutes, shot 40%. But the next time he played them, which was only like a week later, and still not, I wouldn't consider that in when Darius Garland started to get going. He's cooled off, but started to get going. He had 29 points against them. He shot 50% from the field. He made, I think it was 4 threes. I also don't like a look at his threes today, but over 21 and a half. This is a really good matchup for him. Chicago allowing ton of points to the point guard position. They also struggle in a bunch of spots that, this Cleveland team should be able to score in. Even from the perimeter this season, they struggled. Darius Garland obviously going to shoot a lot from there, but the pick and roll, they really, really struggle in, allowing, I think the score percentage is like, it's pretty good, but their effective field goal percentage against is terrible. So just a good matchup. Pick and roll ball handlers. He scores 35% of his points through that, the fifth worst defense. He also scores in transition. Chicago likes to run, and spot up is 16% of his scoring, which again is, like I said, I don't mind his threes. 21st in terms of Chicago's ranking there in those 3 categories. So yeah, he hasn't hit this in literally, I think it's like 6 or 7 straight games, but at some point he will. He's a really good player, and as long as he's feeling fully healthy, and this is a game in which they could use him. So clean up with a bad team. I'm a little, I guess you could say, blowout concerned, but also at the same time, if they blow him out, I would hope that Darius Garland put in his 22 to contribute towards that, I guess. So yeah, I like this spot here for him. I want to see is Mitchell, because Mitchell missed, I believe, their last game, right? He should be good to go, but I think
I think they're
Evan
good.
Mobley's actually out. So yeah, so there
Oh,
you go.
okay.
That's another score that's out. This is one of my looks today. I'll probably talk about it in my video too.
Yeah, I can't hate on this prop at all for you. I like this. I actually, because on Outlier, if you see, obviously his under is one of the highest ranked plays today, but it's because the line is so elevated.
Hmm.
Why is the line elevated? Well, because he's playing the Bulls. Like
Yep.
that's why people will see this data and it's like, oh, he's only cashed it, and he's like you said, he hasn't hit it in 6 straight games, but it's like It's because this is not his normal line. This line is an elevated line due to the matchup at hand. The Bulls, I talked about earlier, the Suns being Viagra for offense. No, 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 no.
Bulls.
The Bulls are Viagra. The Bulls and the Wizards are the two teams. Like if you play them, you know you're going to have a good day offensively. They really don't rank well at all on the perimeter. They're even worse down low. Jared Allen also going to have a big game with Mobley being
Yeah.
out, but Garland, he should, like, again, I agree with you. Like he should, even if it's a blowout, he's going to play at least 20 to 25 minutes. Like these blowouts, don't get me wrong, they play less minutes, but it's not like Garland's going to play 17 minutes tonight. Unless it's like 50 to, 70 to 20 at halftime.
Yep.
He's going to play at least 20 to 25 minutes. And in that case, like you said, he should be able to score, especially with Mobley being out. It's just one less offensive option for them. He's going to
Hmm.
score somewhere in that vicinity of 22 points in that time frame. Him and Mitch, the biggest, I think, threat to you
Mitchell
is this
going
one of those
off.
games where Mitchell just goes off and because
It could.
this happens with this team sometimes where you have those certain, it happens with Garland, it happens with Mitchell, it happens with Mobley, where one guy has the hot hand and then they're like, hey, we're just going to keep giving it to you. And they have their big game. And that's my big fear for you in this prop would
It
be because Mitchell also has a good matchup.
And if you look at his last two games, it is a concern. Mitchell's last two games against the Bulls, 36-37 this year. So
Yeah,
like,
and
yeah,
that would be my thing is if he gets going early and they decide we're going to run through Mitchell today, and then does Garland back off a bit? That's why like this could be a spot where maybe points assists if you can get the right line
yeah,
might not be a bad play
yeah, I
because
don't mind
it
that. I
maybe
also
puts
don't
feet
I don't
off
mind his
Mitchell.
yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind his threes, like I said, with
Yeah,
because that could be a nice Mitchell's drive and kick type of opportunity too. So yeah, I mean, if Mitchell goes off, then sure, this could kind of put it to kaput. But who knows? Maybe that just leads to them trapping Mitchell and Garland's now free. I guess
yeah.
is how I would try to spin that. But it's a good matchup, like you said. The Bulls should allow them to kind of get going, and it's not even like you need much to get the Cavs going. They're one of the best teams in the
I was
league.
gonna say
So yeah, that's what I'm thinking there.
they could get going against a great defense, but now you're giving
Right.
them this basically a high school basketball team
Yeah.
defense. They should be able to have a good game. So yeah, I
Yeah.
listen. This is what we like to. I mean, I don't know if the people like to see this, but when we're in
True.
kumbaya and we're agreeing on
True. It's
picks, I
it's
mean,
it's
more often than
validating
not,
for
it's
it's
good.
validating for us.
Yeah,
All
I don't
right,
know
we
if it's the
got
best entertainment that we're holding hands through it all, but
yeah. They're like, come on, come up for air one time, buddy. All right, let's jump into round number 3, and then we'll get into fade me. By the way, what fade me is we get to spin the wheel. It lands on one of our names. Whoever that lands on gets to make a pick from anywhere. The other person has to take the opposite. So it's pretty damn unique. But we are still in round number 3. I'm going to be leading us off. How do you feel about your first two plays so far, Tasos?
I'm feeling good. Like I said, the Pacers one, I don't love the value at minus 155. I wish I could have gotten a little bit better, but I do
Yeah.
like the play. I think Indiana should win tonight. And again, I think doubling down and taking Turner there, I think he's one of the keys to Indiana winning, especially if Mathurin doesn't play too. I didn't
Yeah, I
mention
think
that in the player prop. Like if Mathurin's out too, it just puts more like they need Turner to score more. So, Mathurin being out also could be
yep.
huge for that. But I'm happy with my plays so far.
Yep. I like mine as well. Let's see what we got for round number 3, and I'm going to be starting us off. It's going to be. Oh, I'm a little light on assist, but it looks like it's going to be assist right now. All right. Let's see if I can conjure up one of these and make them sound pretty, because, again, this is not exactly, in all honesty, not exactly one of the stats that I'm loving today. I was kind of liking the board. I do have 2. Oh, no, one of them is a guy I already talked about, so I don't even want to. You know what? I don't mind this one. This is on. It's some. I have this actually just like in a value play bucket of mine, just because the odds, we're getting really good odds on right now. DraftKings minus 140. Elsewhere, it's either an assist higher or worse odds. The matchup is okay. I'm looking at Damian Lillard here.
Yeah.
Okay, over 6.5 assists. They're going up against the Hawks here, which is a team that allows plenty of assists overall. Decent amount, I think even more assists to the point guard. Last time he played them, he had 10 assists. That was just at the beginning of February. Time before that, he had 7 assists. So he's looked pretty. I think they've played multiple times. He's hit it in 3 times, 3 of the 5 games so far this year. The reason I like this is going to be kind of a tough one to sell, solely because I think Damian Lillard can have a really good scoring game as well. The Hawks struggle against the pull-up jumper, and Damian Lillard obviously loves the pull-up, right? But if they make any sort of adjustment to his pull-up or emphasize the fact that he's not, like, we're not going to let Dame pull up on us, you're telling me he can't just hand the ball off to pretty much anybody on this team and they can just score on a bad Hawks defense. Like the pick and roll opportunities between him and Giannis and even Brooke Lopez in the pick and pop should be, you should at least have the quantity today. So this is again a price play because we're getting at least 10 cents of value and or a full assist of value, like FanDuel at 7.5, DraftKings 6.5. And or I think the quantities should be there. And based on his play type and being able to pull up and ball dominant, he should have the ball a ton. Not that he doesn't have the ball a ton all the time anyways, but he'll be looking to score today. I think that should lead to a slight uptick of usage. So yeah, 6.5. Another one in which I guess the two guys I'm rolling with, like, it's not like he's been just crushing this line, right? He's been kind of he hasn't hit it in 3 straight games. He was crushing it before, but a little weird again, like 2 player props in a row for me that like the recent history may not look as good as the situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, this was one I definitely looked at. The matchup, like you said, not a bad matchup here. The one thing, and I don't, Lillard has scared me. I've been burned a lot on Lillard this year.
Yeah.
This is kind of, and if you listen to Bill Simmons in The Ringer, he talks about this a lot with guys at his age, like when they get older, players, where it's like they don't bring it. When you're in your prime, you can bring it every game or every 2 out of 3 a week. As you get older, you become like a once a week guy, where it's like once a week you can have that big game, and the rest of the week you're just kind of average. That's kind of where Lillard's at now, where it's like he has, he can still have that game where he puts up crazy stats, but more often than not, I've been disappointed with him. That's the only risk. And there's also massive blow up potential here. The Hawks, obviously, they don't have that great of a team right now. They're kind of bottoming out. So there is that factor. The Bucks are just hard to get a read on because it's Lillard has the ball a lot, but obviously Giannis also dominates the ball usage. Like he touches it a lot. He kind of runs the offense some games. So it's tough. It's tough to get a read on what
Yeah, that's
what
fair.
this matchup is going to be like. But I don't hate the spot.
How about this, Tasos? I just looked this up too. Okay, so Lillard against teams that allow where the Hawks are 24th, so 24th to 30th in terms of assists rankings on the year. He's hitting 11 of 12 games and averaging 9 assists per game. That's
It's
either
not bad.
great
It's not
or
bad.
it's the biggest scary, like, yeah, he's due to go 11 of 13 and still have a good hit rate, but he doesn't hit tonight. You know what I mean? But that's a little bit reassuring. But at the same time, both you and I know think the same way sometimes when it's like, that means he's due for the dud. Hopefully that's not the
Yeah.
case. Where are you going for assists?
I like James Harden here. Going back to that Clippers Suns game, James Harden over 8.5 assists, kind of right around where you are value wise, minus 135 over
Yep.
on DraftKings. The data is okay. It's not great. He's cashed it 50% of his last 10. Overall this year, 49%. So about half the time he cashes this over. He is averaging 8.51 assists per game this year. So he's averaging right around that line. What really makes me confident in this play, though, is the head-to-head numbers, which is really solid. He's cashed in 4 of his last 5 against the Suns, averaging 10.4 assists per game when he plays Phoenix. He's played them 3 times this year. He's cashed in 2 of 3. The one time he missed it back on October 23rd, I think that might have been their first game of the season. He literally missed it by 1 assist. So obviously that's not too bad. He's averaging almost 17 potential assists per game over those last 5 meetings, so plenty of opportunities for assists. And again, like we talked about earlier with the Suns defense here, not great overall. They're 16th overall in assists allowed versus point guards, 14th versus shooting guards, 23rd. Harden obviously plays between both positions. So I do think overall, again, not the best matchup of all time, but he's had some great success against the Suns from an assist standpoint. And again, if you think like me, the Clippers will probably end up winning this game or it'll be close. I think Harden's going to play a healthy amount of minutes. And the opportunities should certainly be there, especially with Norman Powell being out. He should have more chances to touch the ball more and kind of run
Yep.
the offense more through him, which I do think is a big deal. You could make the argument that without Norman Powell, it's someone less to score, and the numbers actually aren't great when Norman Powell doesn't play. So he's only averaging 7.54 assists when Norman Powell is out, so that obviously goes against us. But I do think overall, it's not a bad spot, especially because the head-to-head matchup is pretty sweet here
Mhm.
against Phoenix, against the Suns. So minus 135, not bad value either. I mean, it's not great, but like you said, the assist props here today, a lot of risk involved, not a lot that I love from an assist standpoint. So that's one that I think is a good place to look at.
Yeah, I don't think that this is a bad one here. He should have tons of opportunity. And one thing that I like for I guess this also kind of looks at his points. I would say I think that they should be able to have some pick and roll success offensively. So maybe that's him driving, kicking. But one really good thing is that Phoenix, I know they're really a terrible defense. We already talked about that, right?
Yeah.
They are a very good defense though in one lane, and it's when you try and isolate against them. James Harden obviously loves to
Loves to
isolate,
isolate,
right?
yeah.
So if they can at all, and this is probably because they've had a few good, on ball defenders, they just haven't had a good team defense. But you have guys like Nunn and whatever his name is. They've had some decent defense defenders, I would say. I can't think of it. Ryan Nunn, whoever it is. If Harden gets some sort of special treatment defensively and they don't want him to isolate the one thing that they're good at, hey, we can't let him isolate against us. Isn't that just going to lead to some potential spot up threes for you and maybe a lob to Zubats? Like there's angles to be made for Harden doesn't exactly have the best scoring. I think a lot of the game actually helps his scoring too. Like I think that he should have some good scoring as well. But if they're like, hey, you're not isolating on us, you got to have at least like a little bit of a bump of assists, right? Like because he's gonna have to pass out of some sticky-ish situation. So that's kind of how I would think about it too. Which I don't mind that for you. And this is a guy that obviously, if he wants to, he can go out there and get 10 assists at the drop of a hat, right?
Yeah.
Like he's James Harden. So yeah, Norm Powell, sure, you're probably missing a couple assists there, but I think you gain them back in the isolation category. If I'm being honest there, not that I want to like your plays, but like it's hard for me to poke a hole in this one.
Yeah, like I said, it's not a bad place. So like I said, the data's not like otherworldly great, but it's solid. It's got precedent for a hit, and like I said, the head to head data is really what
Yep.
drew my eyesight because, like I said, he's had a lot of success versus Phoenix over the last 2 seasons. So
Yeah,
especially
it's
this year,
kind of.
being two of
I
three.
mean, yeah. Who am I to knock that type of thing when my two player props that we've gone over are two plays that like have not been trending, but I like the matchup. That's essentially what you're doing with this Harden one here.
Yeah,
But all right, you ready to jump into fade me?
I'm ready. I'm ready
All
for
right,
this.
guys. Like I had already mentioned a couple minutes ago, this round is, I think, what makes this show really fun and unique. We have the first wheel up on your screen again. It's got 3 Ev slices, 3 Tasso slices. Whatever this lands on, if it's an Ev slice, I get to make any play across the board, and Tassos has to take the opposite. If I take an over, he has to take the under. If I take a money line side, he has to take the other team. Whoever lands on gets to make a play without having to spin the wheel to see the category. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And Tassos hit his last week. It's a huge leg up because you're guaranteeing your side a victory or if you do hit, right, you're
Yeah,
guaranteeing your side a win and the other side a loss. You can also lose your play. I see people being like, why do you do head to head? It's just such an advantage for the person that gets it. And it's like, I mean, it should be, but at the same time, you can just hand someone a win. Like if this lands on me and I give Tassos a play and mine doesn't hit, it's like he just got to win without having to think about it. So it works both ways for sure.
yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and spin it.
Yeah, if you watch HGH Football Edition, there was a lot of times
Yeah.
where
Is it going to sit on you?
I got it, and I
Yeah,
love
it
that.
is. Yeah, there was so many times where like we took heavy favorites and
The Lions
then
in the playoffs, that was against the
yeah,
Commanders. That was
yep,
that one sucked. That one sucked a
yep.
lot.
All right, Tassos, it is your board. 2 weeks in a row now in the NBA.
Yeah, it's listen. The wheel gods have been nice. I really do like this player prop here. Um, I was hoping to get Fade Me just for this. Now, this is a guy I did take last week.
Okay.
He let me down. I'm giving him a chance for redemption. If he doesn't hit this time, I'm done with him. We're not putting him again on HGH this year. We're going Zion Williamson against the Lakers over 28 and a half points plus rebounds. So you have to take the under.
Mm-hmm.
The under right now at 28 and a half is available for minus 104 on FanDuel. So you do get best odds. I'll give you best odds minus 110 on DraftKings. So you got about the same. I'm getting it for minus 120 on DraftKings. So you actually get
Okay.
better value
Okay.
on this under. The data is fantastic, though. I mean, he's cashed it in 7 of his last 10 games. He's averaging 31.7 points, rebounds per game. Go ahead, look at the overall numbers 61% hit rate on the year, averaging 31.74 points plus rebounds. Again, he's only played 23 games this year, but when he's playing, when he's on the court, and this has kind of been the story of his career so far. When he's on the court, he's one of the most special players in the league. The problem is he's just not on the court enough. But again, the numbers are pretty solid head-to-head standpoint. He's cashed in 3 of his last 5. He hasn't played the Lakers yet this year, but the last time they played back on April 16th of last season, he had 40 points and 11
Oof.
rebounds against the Lakers. So he had a massive game. And you look at the Lakers this year, they're not built to deal with him defensively. Bless you. They're not
Thank you.
built to deal. You're welcome. They're not built to deal with him defensively at all. Like I don't know who you're gonna. LeBron at this point in his career. Do you want LeBron at age 40 guarding this? Basically, he's a mini Hulk
This
on the court. I
behemoth.
mean, I mean, you can't put Rui Hachimura on him. I mean, you could put Jackson Hayes, I guess, but he's just an absolute monster on the
Mhm.
court, and he looks good. He's been. I think I talked about this a little bit last week. I think he's advertising himself to possibly get traded in the offseason. I don't think he's going to be in New Orleans much longer, but what better stage to advocate that, hey, I'm still a star in this league than prime time Tuesday night inside the NBA in LA against LeBron and Luca, prime time matchup. I think he's going to have a massive game. Of course, with all the, they don't have DeJounte Murray. They're missing some guys. He is kind of their, no Herb Jones, no DeJounte Murray.
Yep.
They need him to kind of be the focal point of this team right now with the injuries they have and whatnot. So he's been playing really well. I think he's due for a really big game here against the Lakers in LA. I think it's just, he's going to go off. I don't know what the Lakers, and to their credit, the Lakers have been playing pretty solid defense. I just don't know defensively what do they do to slow him down, because he's too big for them. They
Yeah.
don't have the size to match up with him.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I do have a question. What was the thought process behind taking assists out of the equation? Because if you looked at his last 11 and 9 assists over his last 2 games, is it because you're probably paying a premium price of a number for assists now to throw in? Like his assist line at 4.5. I imagine,
Yeah,
I didn't look at it,
I
but that's
didn't want.
probably a high line.
Yeah, I didn't really want to do the assist part of it. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't hate doing the assist part of it. And like I was like, oh, it just the value wasn't as great. So to do it, you'd have to go 30, 33 and a half probably, which is minus 120, which isn't too bad. I mean, it's only adding what, 6 extra points, rebounds,
Yeah,
assists to the
but
number,
he
and
could
his
have
assist
3
numbers.
assists. Like this line's inflated, so I guess that does kind of make I get
Yeah,
it.
I mean, and again, his assist numbers have actually been really solid. So you're not wrong to say why not. And actually, the overall numbers, the data across the board is actually slightly better. I don't know why. And the Lakers do actually rank pretty well in terms of assists allowed. However, I just had a weird feeling about this game where, again, sometimes there are these things where I don't have an explanation for them. I just felt way more confident taking just the points and rebounds at 28 and a half
It's also
than
his bread
taking
and butter. Like that's his.
it's his
That's
bread
what.
and butter.
Like you're not. That's not his outlier stat. It's like go play Zion's basketball, and if the assists come and say you get screwed by that, whatever. But like you don't have to rely on Zion assists now, which definitely isn't his bread and butter.
Yeah, and my other thing too is like the Lakers, like I just mentioned before, defensively they have played well overall. They just struggled with these bigger guys. So my problem would be the Pelicans right now. They don't have a lot. I mean, they have good players: Trey Murphy, Evis Missy. They still have McCollum. They still have some guys. My problem is that is Zion against this Lakers defense. Are the assist opportunities going to be there like they have been the last couple of games? Like I said, if you go to the last couple of games for him, yes, he's had a lot of assist numbers, which are really impressive.
You can't
But
guarantee that
he's
though.
played Utah. Utah's terrible. They played Phoenix. Phoenix not very good. So are the same assist opportunities going to come up here against the Lakers? I personally don't think so. So that's why my thought process behind points plus
Yeah,
rebounds. But again, I think the Lakers. I don't know how defensive they're going to be able to slow him down. I think he's due for a really big game. Again, he burned me last week, but I do think
he
he's due for
did.
a big
I'm
one this week.
surprised that a guy that burned you like that last week, you go like right back to. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
that's
listen, you know what? I got to give him another chance. Zion, I have a love-hate relationship with Zion. He's won me a lot of money. He's also lost me a lot of money over the years. But I do, it's just a match. But I think the Lakers. I've been saying this consistently in all my videos. Like yes, they are playing very good basketball, but these are the type of players where I don't know what they do, because I don't think they have the personnel to deal with a player like Zion, or even like when they play Jokic. Like they don't. And again, they played the Denver like 2 weeks ago, and they did a pretty good job. But overall, the Lakers they're just not built for this matchup.
yeah. I would agree. I think that it's a decent spot for him, and I guess I think even me asking the question about the assist portion of it, like I feel like I said, getting an inflated line, and there's no get like he's not going to keep having 11 dimes, 9 dimes. So I think that makes sense. I feel like that's pretty fair. I'm getting that for, you say, minus 110 on my side, under 20. What was the line that you got? 20 for points plus
20. I have
rebounds.
28 and a half points plus rebounds. The points, rebounds, assist line was 33 and a half.
Okay, so yeah, so 20 and a half, and my under is minus 110. You said
Yes, minus
okay,
110, 20
and
and a
minus
half,
120.
minus 120 over
All
28.
right. All right. I kind of like that. That's a good one to look at, because I'm skeptical of Zion overall, but yeah, I like the board. I feel like having a Zion under, especially like you said, he went off against the Lakers last time, could be tough, but I like my other 3 spots. If trends are popular today in terms of hit rate and whatnot, I'm screwed. But matchup wise, I think that they're really good. How do you feel about your board, especially now that you got Fade Me? That can change things sometimes.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I liked my board beforehand, but obviously getting Fade Me, getting the player prop I wanted to give out makes it
Yep.
good.
Perfect.
Like I said, two of these four were on my play sheet for my player prop video today, so that's always a good sign when I get
Oh
some of
yeah.
the plays that I really liked in the research. So yeah, I feel pretty confident. Obviously, I have a lot of stock invested in the Pacers today, which is always a little scary because it's not like Indiana is the most consistent team. But
Yeah.
no, I feel pretty good, and I thought you had a good like. Listen, I know people don't like it when we're always on the same side, but I thought you had a pretty good day. Yes, some of the trends weren't on your side, but again, and I talk about that in my videos too, where like sometimes, the trends might not be the best, but the matchup is just too good to
Yeah.
ignore.
Yep. I totally agree. I think the only one that you really disagreed with was the starter one, the Suns
Yeah,
Clippers.
the
So we'll
Sun,
see.
yeah, and it's just because I just don't trust betting on putting my money on Phoenix right now.
Right.
They're a little bit of a dumpster fire.
Right. All right. Anything else we have to? Do we have anything? Any news or anything? I don't think so right now. Right.
I don't think so. Obviously, we're trying to plan something out for March Madness. Obviously, starting in a couple weeks, we're kind of brainstorming what we're going to do. If it's going to be
Yep.
Trey, if I'll kind of chip in a little bit and do some. So make sure you guys, if you aren't already, subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of great stuff. Obviously, baseball only
Yeah.
less than a month away, so we're gonna have.
Crazy.
I'll be doing my MLB player prop videos. Ev will be doing his MLB picks videos. But yeah, I would just say make sure you subscribe because right now I know it's only basketball, but we've got a lot of good stuff that's going to be coming. I know obviously the Masters. I know it's still a little ways away, but that's around the corner. Golf is starting to pick up. You've been doing the golf videos.
Yep.
So there's a lot of good stuff coming out. I mean, I know the videos like during football season, we had so much coming out every day because we had football, basketball, everything. But now, it's going to start ramping up again very soon.
Yeah, so make sure you do hit the subscribe button, like the video as well, and let us know what your favorite prop is on this video that we gave out. Not necessarily prop, whatever your favorite play is, right? It could be the Suns money line if you have some real ones out there. Comment that down below. It'll be kind of our wink, wink, nod, nod way of telling us that you made it to the end of the video by answering that question because we always appreciate that. And I know Tasos and myself kind of love those people a little bit more, the ones that we recognize the names, the usernames that make it to the end. It's really cool. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? So.